Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I actually wanted to talk about the sneak peek that we got for The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 24. And this one here focuses on Gabriel, Eugene, and more specifically Rosita, and her trying to find Coco. And it's actually a pretty crazy scene, kind of a little spoilery, I would say, considering what actually happens in here, and it kind of confirms that, she is going to find Coco, but I guess compared to what's going to happen in this episode, it's probably nothing. So yeah, I thought it was a really crazy sneak peek, and so yeah, let's actually get into this here. So before we go any further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. We see Eugene, Gabriel, and Rosita, and they enter this apartment, they go into this room or whatever, and I imagine this is where, I don't know if it's a daycare or something like that, but that seems to be what the situation is here, and that's where Coco is. And so, Rosita finally finds Coco, and that's basically what the scene is. Actually, there's a few cool action scenes there with Rosita where she's killing some zombies. Just really cool. I think this is definitely going to be a pretty big Rosita episode, I think, for the first third. Like, I know a lot of people, like myself included, are sort of, theorizing and basically saying that Rosita's likely going to be a big death here in the finale, probably the big death of the finale, right? And you just watch a scene like this, and it's hard to just think otherwise. Like, there's just little things that they've been doing over the last couple of episodes that, for me personally, I'm like, you're sort of hinting at it, you're building towards it. There's been some really cool, one-on-one time with Gabriel and Rosita. Eugene and Rosita had a really special scene a couple of episodes ago. And just in this scene here, you have Eugene, Gabriel, and Rosita together. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, if we got some sort of Abraham hallucination scene, I don't think we're going to get that. But imagine if we did. Like, that's basically what this group is here, right? Like, you're having those characters that were introduced around that time. And those four characters, obviously don't include Abraham now, but those three characters, Eugene, Gabriel, and Rosita, are just so close together. They're really close. And I just, when I watch the scene, I'm just in my head immediately, I'm like, I really feel like Rosita's going to die here. And I know a lot of us are thinking the same thing too. I will say as well, in terms of any other deaths and stuff like that, we can talk about that in another video. We'll do that either Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. But I have seen some stuff with some photos that were released by The Walking Dead. And yeah, I did see what people were talking about. I'm not going to talk about it in here because I don't want to raise awareness to it just cause, but man, I can't believe that was actually released, because I'm pretty sure, that's what I was seeing was right, but I can't believe they actually released that, because that's a pretty big spoiler right there. Yeah, that's just really insane. But Rosita's death, is it happening? I do think so. I've seen a lot of people talking about, actors and other people and stuff giving out shout outs to Christian Serratos. And, I haven't really seen any of that myself personally. I didn't go online to go look for anything or anything like that, so I can't really comment on that. But, a lot of people think that is sort of a connection here, and that they're relating that to the fact that Rosita is going to be gone in this episode, and that people are just sort of celebrating that character, celebrating Christian Serratos and Rosita. And yeah, I could totally see that being the case, definitely. At this point, it just kind of makes sense. I'm looking at all the characters that could die, and which characters it makes sense to kill off. I guess there's a lot of characters you could kill off. There's definitely still a lot where it's like, yeah, I can totally see it. You could kill off Aaron for sure. Aaron is one of those characters that is, killing him off would be really big. It would be crazy. It would be so sad. But he did have that sort of dream sequence earlier this season, right? So that could have been foreshadowing that. So that's very, very possible. You could kill off Jerry. He's definitely in a very scary situation right now. I have no idea where he is. They're not really showing us anything with him in it. So yeah, I could totally see that being the case as well. Lydia, I could also see dying. Anyone from Magna's group. Although I would say, besides the opening sequence and stuff, I actually think they're kind of safe at this point. I don't see Magna dying. Kelly or Connie or Yumiko, I actually don't see any of them dying. I think they're all going to survive. And besides that, our core characters are going to be totally fine. A lot of side characters could die. Annie could die. And maybe even Eugene. Eugene, he could be a character that they could kill off. I just kind of think at this point, there's no point in doing it because he has Max, right? And I know a lot of people think that maybe Gabriel dies as well with Rosita. And so that maybe Eugene and Max will then raise Coco, right? Maybe that's what it's going to be. I think that would be really sad, very, very heartbreaking. I couldn't even picture that. I don't even want to picture that, but I could totally see that being a choice there. And so, yeah, that's kind of why, when I go through the list, and also that's the thing too, when you really focus on which character death would be the most impactful, it kind of feels like Rosita at this point. It really does. It actually feels like her death would be crazy sad, crazy tragic, and would really set the stage for the end game here. If those last 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes, or however long it's going to be. Like, I don't know, this whole opening sequence here, is it going to be done within 20 minutes or 30 minutes? I think the episodes overall without commercials is going to be about 60 to 65 minutes. So, like, at what point does Rosita die, right? Like, if she dies halfway through the episode, they got to transition to some stuff afterwards. And I know there's nighttime shots and stuff. And after this whole endgame thing here and all of that, you sort of want to do an epilogue scene, right? Where you have all of our characters sort of living happily ever after, just showing us that. But in terms of the Rosita, Gabriel, and Eugene scene, yeah, I mean, just really awesome. Honestly, really awesome scene. It was kind of cool to see just because we didn't get any new footage for a while. So it was kind of cool if they actually showed us that. And I will say that's one of those things that this week has really shown me. And I've talked about this before. It's just, like everyone's on the same page right now. AMC Plus that isn't giving anyone any new footage beforehand or this and that. Like everyone's on the same page. Everyone's looking for all the, the new things being released, this and that. And it's just exciting. It's honestly just very, very exciting. I really cannot wait for just more footage to drop this week and just what's going to be happening this week. Because I have no idea. I really wonder what's going to be coming out this week and how much they're going to be hyping up this finale. I mean, it seems like this Sunday is going to be insane. Like just with everything going on, regarding the final episode, the, events happening beforehand and afterwards and stuff. It looks like it's going to be a pretty big deal. So I'm just very excited here. And I guess the one question, people would have regarding the finale and Rosita's death, if it does happen, like, honestly, I will say though, like if Rosita doesn't die, I'd be way more shocked. Like, I'd honestly be really shocked because it just seems like it's going to happen. I would be happy overall, right? Like, I would be happy if Rosita didn't die because I really like the character, but like, I would be so shocked if she actually makes it out of this episode. But in terms of that, is it a big enough death for this very last episode now that we're here, a couple of days before that last episode airs? And, based off of the stuff that's been sort of coming out, I feel like it is going to be a big enough death because I also don't know if she'll be the only death. Like Jerry or Aaron could die as well. And if one of them die, that's a big deal as well. You have two big characters that are dying. And that, to me, that's honestly a really, really big deal. And I think for the people who really want a lot more deaths and stuff on The Walking Dead, I think that would make a lot of them really happy. And so I do think that's likely going to be the case. I do think that however they're going to do this here, I don't think Rosita's going to be the only one. And I do think that everyone will be sort of happy with how all this is going to conclude, right? Like, this is the final episode. Like, in terms of writing it, in terms of what they're going to give us and stuff, I really feel like they, in the beginning, they want you to be like, really intense and really focused and just like really celebrating what's going on and stuff. And then I do think there's going to be some heartbreaking moments when you're crying and stuff. And I feel like they're really going to try and keep that there. And then I think when you get to the final battle, when, maybe Judith does make that epic final speech or whatever, or I keep saying epic final speech, but I mean epic speech because it's not her final speech, but yeah, her epic speech. Like, I feel like then everyone's going to be so emotional with stuff going on. And then, yeah, I just think people are going to be so emotional really at that point up until the very end. And then there might be some really happy moments where, our characters find out Rick's alive and there's just like this happiness there. And then when you see Rick at the end, you're just so happy. And I that's kind of how I see it going, honestly. I think this final episode is going to be going up and down, up and down. Like, I think your emotions are going to be going like on a roller coaster. Like I think it's just going to be really insane. And just, I'm so ready for it. Although I say I'm ready for it, but I'm really not. Like, honestly, I'm kind of nervous going into this episode. I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it. I want to watch it like right now, but I'm kind of nervous. The second I put that episode on and I begin to watch it, I'm going to be really, really nervous about just how I feel about it because there's so much expectation here. Like, I have pretty high expectations for what they have to do here. I've been watching this show for a long time. Like, they really need to like tell a full, complete story here, conclude it in the best way, and then also set up the spinoffs in a really appropriate way as well, and celebrate Rick Grimes as a character. They gotta do that. There's no way this show can end without any mention of Rick Grimes or any sort of thing, connecting Rick at all, like, or even teasing to the Rick and Michonne spinoff. Like, there's just no way you can do that. So again, like, I had pretty high expectations, but I think it's possible. I don't think it's that impossible. Like, I think if you're writing this episode and you get to the point, like, as a writer on this show, there's several writers. I think when you get to this last episode, I mean, I'm sure Gimple also wanted to have a say in what happens as well. I think they probably talked about a bunch of stuff of like, well, what should we do here? Like, how can we connect this to that? What will people like? If you end it like this, is that enough? Are people going to be satisfied with that? Now, like, how much can we include Rick in that? Right? And then I know when you do that, a lot of excitement comes up right away. Like, I think that it just makes the most sense and stuff. So, yeah, anyways, I'm definitely really excited for this. As for Rosita's death, if it does happen, I mean, yeah, I'll talk about it I don't know if I'll talk about it in my review video, because there might be a lot of stuff happening, but I definitely will be doing a video at some point next week after the episode's over and all that, and I'll talk about Rosita as a character and stuff, and whatnot, just talk about the death scene, and if it was good enough, you know, and if it fit the character, you know, and what she stood for and stuff, and if there's any other characters as well that do die, I'll do videos on that as well. There's gonna be a lot to talk about here after the finale. I'm very, very hyped here. So anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.